Cadet from the Crimson Expanse. They called it Eliur 7, but to Cadet Rhea Voss, it felt like home. The jungle moon was dense with poisonous air and slithering danger. Every breath of its thick, sulfur-tinged atmosphere clung to skin and steel alike. It was the kind of place where off-worlders tiptoed and kept weapons ready, even in sleep. But Rhea had grown up on Terra, the infamous Deathworld of Sector 9, a planet where storms tore buildings from their roots and beasts stalked cities as easily as alleys. To her, Eliur 7 was almost quaint. She was the youngest on the team, fresh from Coalition Academy, and the only human in Outpost Survey Team Theta 9. "Try not to touch anything, Cadet," Commander Trithnox said, his four mandibles twitching in irritation. The insectoid officer loomed over her with a disdain only a Zarn-class strategist could muster. "Your biosuit is primitive. You'll contaminate the field." Rhea bit her tongue and nodded. It was always like this. Every alien species in the Coalition had an opinion about humans, mostly that they were violent, impulsive, and feral. They weren't wrong, but they were also alive. Survivors. Theta 9's mission was simple. Investigate the sudden silence of a cargo vessel that had gone dark near a deep jungle ravine. The region was unmapped, radio dead, and full of native wildlife known only from orbital scans, bare outlines of massive creatures, movement clusters, energy bursts. High risk, high confusion, the kind of place no one wanted to explore. Except humans. Sergeant Dax, the only other human in the fleet, and Rhea's former field instructor, gave her a subtle nod from the rear of the formation. He didn't speak much these days, not since the siege on Varelian Station, but she trusted his silence more than most leaders' words. "Movement in the canopy," said Chiron, the feline scout, tail stiffening. "Fast. Coordinated. Something's pacing us." Trithnox scoffed. "Indigenous fauna. No known predator life forms exhibit tactics." Rhea stepped forward slightly. "With respect, sir, Eliur 7 hasn't been fully surveyed, and the canopy's showing collapsed branches ahead, maybe lair activity." Trithnox waved his claw dismissively. "Cadet, we didn't request your Deathworld anecdotes." "Hold formation." Rhea sighed, adjusting her grip on her coil rifle. She wasn't here to win debates. She was here to survive. They found the cargo vessel, or what was left of it, 4 kilometers deeper, embedded in a crumpled rock bed. Its hull was ripped open like a tin can, and the remains of the crew were scattered in a pattern that made Rhea's skin crawl. No looting, no feeding signs, just clean, calculated elimination. Sergeant Dax examined one of the hull scars. "These cuts are surgical, heat-laced, like something toyed with it." Chiron sniffed the air. "It's wrong. The jungle's gone silent." Trithnox turned to his comms tech. "Patch a signal through to Central Command. Report salvage in progress and secure perimeter." Then the world screamed. A chorus of deep, guttural howls erupted from all directions, low at first, then rising into a pulse-pounding rhythm. Dark shapes moved between the trees, long-limbed, scaled, with glowing violet slits for eyes. Drauka. Rhea had read about them. Apex predator species. Rare, nomadic, not officially hostile, because no one had survived contact to file a report. The jungle exploded in chaos. A 6-meter beast lunged from above, flattening 2 soldiers before vanishing into the canopy again. Energy bolts sizzled into the trees, missing their marks. One by one, Coalition troops were taken, yanked into the shadows or skewered by bone-like claws. "Defensive posture," Trithnox shrieked. "Form up. Return fire." They didn't stand a chance. These things weren't attacking blindly. They were herding, coordinated, smart. Rhea ducked low, yanking Chiron behind a twisted root. "Cover me," she yelled, pulling a flare from her belt. She ignited it and hurled it into the foliage. The burst of light startled one of the Drauka, revealing its grotesque armor-plated form and its hesitation. Not fear, exactly, but recognition. "They know we're armed," she said aloud. "And they don't care." Chiron's ears flattened. "What are they?" "Hunters," she whispered. "The kind that only pick prey that runs." A blood-choked scream echoed from Trithnox's position. Rhea didn't look. She grabbed a comm unit from a fallen soldier and linked to Dax. Sergeant, we're compromised. Commander's down. I need to buy you time to fall back. You'll die. Maybe, she said, but not alone. She dropped her rifle and grabbed her survival pack. Fire gel, blade, wire traps, pheromone disruptors, standard issue for Deathworlders. She hadn't used them since the graduation trials in Terra's Hollow Abyss. It was time. She stood and turned to the jungle. You're going into that? Chiron asked. I'm from Terra, she said, where predators learn fear. Keep the others alive. And then she ran toward the hunting ground. By nightfall, the jungle burned behind her. Not from fire, yet, but from confusion, from fear. She was just a cadet, fresh from the academy. But the jungle didn't know that, and neither did the monsters who had only ever seen prey, until now. When predators retreat, darkness in the jungle wasn't just a lack of light. It was a presence, a living thing that breathed between the trees, heavy with anticipation. Rhea Voss moved through it like a ghost, her steps silent, calculated, deliberate. Above her, 3 Dralka tracked her, silent, near invisible save for the faint shimmer of refracted heat around their bodies. Apex predators, conditioned by centuries of victorious hunts, studied her. Their telepathic links buzzed with curiosity. Alone, small, unarmed, they'd seen this pattern before. A final stand, a last gasp. Easy. But Rhea was not what they expected. Her survival pack was half empty now, its contents left scattered in careful traps and misdirections across a half-kilometer radius. Scent disruptors masked her trail, and jagged wires strung through the underbrush were ready to tear through armored limbs. Let them follow, she thought. Let them come close. Flashback. Terra's Hollow Abyss, 3 years earlier. She was 16, kneeling in the blood-slick soil of Terra's most dangerous survival pit. Around her lay the carcasses of 6 juvenile glider beasts and the twisted husk of her last opponent, a feral terrormite. She wasn't the strongest cadet, not the fastest, but she watched. She learned. She adapted. And when the others went head-on, she went under, beneath the roots, beneath the fury, emerging where they least expected. Survive, then win. Present, Elier 7. The first trap triggered at dawn. A Dralka stepped across a shimmered vine, and the forest lit up with a burst of plasma fire. It screamed, not from pain, but confusion. No prey had ever wounded them. Not like this. The second was slower, caught in a net woven from glass steel fibers and weighted with gravity nodes. It slashed wildly, freeing itself, just as Rhea dropped from a tree and drove her blade through the base of its skull. Blood hissed on her skin. 2 down. The third leaped from behind. Rhea rolled, grabbed burning soil from her fire trap, and flung it into its face. The creature screeched, staggering. She didn't hesitate, slashing through its leg joints and kicking its weapon from its grip. It looked at her, not with hate, not even anger, recognition, and fear. Far above, Sergeant Dax watched the scene unfold through magnified optics. He and the 5 remaining squad members, including Chiron, were pinned on a ridge, cut off and waiting for death. But it didn't come. Instead, they saw something none of them could explain. The Dralka were retreating, not regrouping, not charging another angle. They were fleeing. Dax turned to the others. Record this. Every second, Coalition High Command won't believe it otherwise. The monsters of Elier 7 were breaking off, melting into the shadows they'd emerged from. And in their wake came her. Rhea emerged from the tree-line, blood-spattered, blade still humming, eyes scanning. She walked alone, unflinching. Chiron stepped forward, ears trembling. What did you do? I taught them something new, she said quietly. Something they'd never felt before. Dax nodded grimly. Fear. 3 days later, Coalition Medical Station, orbit of Elier 7. Rhea sat on a bio bed, armor still streaked with grime and scars. The room was sterile, but the fear hadn't left the eyes of those around her. A Coalition admiral, flanked by aides, entered the room. Your Cadet Voss? She nodded. You drove off a Drowka hunting pack with no heavy weapons, no squad support, and a survival kit? Didn't drive them off, she said. They left. The Admiral blinked. What? Rhea looked up, calm and unwavering. Because I stopped acting like prey. Report, declassified, excerpt. Subject, first human-induced retreat event by Apex Hostile Species Drowka. File designation, the Hunter Bloodwalks. Summary, Cadet Rhea Voss, human, age 19, displayed unprecedented tactical adaptation, environmental manipulation, and psychological warfare in the field during the Elier 7 incident. Drowka Pack recorded engaging and subsequently retreating due to what their neural network described as an inversion of predator-prey dynamic. Species-wide behavioral change logged. All Drowka incursions in adjacent sectors ceased for 72 cycles. Cadet Rhea Voss recommended for promotion to Field Operative First Class. Status, active threat-adapted asset. Epilogue, across the galaxy, story spread. Of a girl from a Deathworld who walked into a nest of monsters. Who didn't run. Who made the predators turn and retreat. And her legend grew. Not as a warrior. Not even as a hero. But as a warning.